Thank you, Madam Chairman, and I address my questions to the entire panel. As I mentioned in my opening statement, having introduced legislation that would direct the development of a national science and technology strategy and quadrennial review, like the process DOD undertakes for national security. And I know each of you touched on this, but expand for me, if you would please, just a little bit more about what you would like to see in a process of whole government strategy for S&T, and as always, how that would benefit U.S. competitiveness. Just whoever would like to take that.
Could you repeat the question?
Basically, expand on your comments about what you would like to see in a process for a whole of government strategy on S&T, and of course, how that would benefit U.S. competitiveness. Because I have to explain things back home to my constituents, too.
Okay. So I think that the U.S. needs to compete with values, talent, partners, and research infrastructure. We need to nurture homegrown and foreign-born talent to build our STEM-capable workforce. We need to prepare our domestic students from every zip code and every background to think creatively with the STEM concepts that touch every area of our lives. And we need to do a dramatically better job of preparing our domestic students. At the same time, while we're doing this, we're dependent on foreign talent. We would leave the door open for the best and brightest, especially in the critical areas of computer science and math and engineering. We need to invest in critical areas of basic and applied science while supporting public sector partnerships and development. And we need to be a reliable global partner and collaborator. Not doing so makes us a risk of becoming a victim of technological surprise when discoveries happen someplace else. And sustaining our investment in fundamental research is a key competitive advantage, but we need to make sure that it leads to innovations and increase the efficiency of that process. That means fostering the partnerships between academia, industry, and government, and explore ways to break down the barriers that are preventing the fruitful partnerships right now. And finally, we need to retain our foundational American values of freedom of inquiry, openness, transparency, authority based on merit, scientific integrity, and an appreciation for creative and unusual ideas, and have intentionality about where and how we make investments.
The United States got to where we are because of a unique combination of government, academia, private sector collaboration in the open community and culture that Dr. Sylvain just talked about. We need to strengthen those links between federal agencies, the military, private sector, academics, in all sorts of ways, whether it's the FFRDCs that are used as part of the military process, other kinds of interesting funding that comes through the NSF, DARPA, and so forth and so on. So I think the general answer is more of what we're doing at a global scale. We have the talent. People want to come to our country. People are incredibly creative here, and we have a strong challenger in China, which runs under a different system that we don't like.
I believe our model worked extremely well and continues to work well, but an alignment of the incentives and alignment in the policies, alignment in the reporting, I think will actually benefit us at this stage. Sharing data, sharing research data is important, but we have different ways right now, different agencies, different policies, different reporting requirements. Something like that, improvement in that aspect will help tremendously. I think also encouraging the incentives to try to get the research out of the universities. Even the basic research that we do at the universities in many cases is leading to ideas that may not be today implementable or has economic impacts, but it would need support, you know, between the lab and getting a large company or an investor to go in there. Facilitating that or encouraging policies to do that, I think, will be extremely important. Most importantly, I think investing in the infrastructure, I think, is key. In many cases, some of the startups that we have in Atlanta, for example, they cannot afford to have the facilities that we may have at the universities, but also those facilities sometimes are not equipped to handle the requests from these companies.
As you heard me say in my opening comments, I am a supporter of doubling the money that we spend on federally funded basic research in the next decade. Part of the challenge that we have here in Congress is not only convincing a majority of each other of the importance of this, but convincing those American taxpayers back home that this is fundamentally in their best interest. So thank you for being here today to help make that case.
Thank you very much. I love your statement.